Did you want our videos on or off?
Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar
You
on
can switch it off.
degrees in 4 years from US colleges at an affordable cost. We are very glad that we have three representatives from three different kind of institutions. And before we talk about the webinar, let me just give you a short introduction about Education USA. Probably some of you are new on this on our webinars, and some of you have already attended. So about Education USA, we are a worldwide network under the Department of State, Government of US, and there are about 430 of advising centers in 170 countries. And at Education USA advising centers, you get accurate, comprehensive, and current information. Most important is that we give unbiased information about all accredited universities and colleges. Accredited means universities and colleges which offer degree and that will be accepted not only in the US, any part of the world, wherever you go, that degree will be accepted. We have 7 centers in India: Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, and New Delhi. And I have attached a handouts about all the centers' contact information. So you can download that at any point of time. For attending from outside India, attending the webinar from outside India, you can find out centers' contact information from the Education USA website. The website is given on the usastate.gov. So feel free to use the educationusastate.gov for any information or contact information of the centers around the globe. A little bit about US higher education system, which is slightly different from our system. So after completing your high school, 12 years of schooling from different school systems, then you can go to college level of education in the US. So there are two paths when you move to college level of education. One is you can direct degree program, or you can go for a 2+2 bachelor's degree program where you will first join a community college for 2 years associate degree and eventually move to a 4-year college or university, complete your 4 years degree, and then you will be able to move to graduate degree or doctorate degree. If you want to study medicines, law, dentistry, those are not offered at the undergraduate level. One has to complete 4 years bachelor's degree with any specialization, then they can move for law, medicine, or dentistry. So that's a different part, which is not the part of our discussion. I'm just giving you this overall information about the US higher education system. The number of higher education institution in the US, roughly approximately 4,300 accredited colleges and universities offering different kind of degrees. Among these 4,300, there are approximately 1,700 colleges and universities offer MS and PhD degree, which is graduate degree in the US, what we call postgraduate degree. And around approximately 3,300 colleges and universities offer 4-year bachelor's degree program. And third, there are about approximately 1,050 community colleges which offer 2-year associate degree. So these are the kind of institution you will find in the US. Now, about the community college, there are myths and reality actually. The myths is that many people think that community college is for academically weak student or adult student. That's not the correct perception actually. So in reality, there are plenty of opportunity for academically strong as well as students who are not so strong but have a strong will to make a good career path. If you look at the statistics of US higher education, around 50% of college going students start their college level of educations at community colleges. So you can imagine that how attractive is community colleges are to the domestic student, and there are also international students going to community colleges. According to AACC, there are 1,050 community colleges in the US, and there are different kind of private and public and some kind of private institutions also. The The only issue that I can say about international students, around 28% of community colleges offer housing in their campus. Others have different kind of options available for international and domestic students. To give you some example of prominent people who have studied in community college, you are all aware of most of them. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Morgan Freeman, Tom Hanks, and Eileen Collins, and probably you may not know well about who played for the Green Bay Packers, the famous football team in America. So with that, I will start introducing to our presenter. We have today Olivia Liu, is the Director of International Student Office, Pasadena City College, Pasadena, California. And we have with us Andrew Hall, Associate Director of Marketing and International Outreach, Shoreline Community College, Washington. This is Washington State, not Washington, D.C. actually. And finally, we have Karen Johnson, International Admission Counselor, Admission Office, University of Wisconsin, Stroud, Menominee, Wisconsin. And Karen probably working with University of Wisconsin for about 4 years. So with that, I will end my short introduction. I will request the presenter to start presentation. I will just change the slide, just a moment. So we'll start with Pasadena City College. I will put up my camera now. So probably presenter can keep your camera on. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sudarshan. Hi, good morning, everyone. It's approximately 5:44 over here in Los Angeles, California. But we're very excited to be presenting together today with the rest of our panelists in USCI. Yeah, thank you again for such a great opportunity. My name is Olivia Liu. I'm the Director of International Students at Pasadena City College. And today I'm going to share a little bit more about Pasadena City College and really helping you guys choose to dream and hoping that you will choose Pasadena City College as your next educational destination. I'm going to move on to the next slide, hopefully. I don't think I have access to the slide yet. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is a beautiful picture of Pasadena City College. And for many of you, one of the important things to note about Pasadena is our proximity to Los Angeles. Before I go ahead and start, one of the things about, that Sudarshan shared with all of you is about our community college system in the United States. And I will give a very, very brief overview of what it is. Community colleges in the United States are a very unique system around the world, and very few countries have been able to replicate this kind of system. They are meant to be 2+2 originally. They were meant to be career-focused institutions, meaning that they were created as technical and vocational training organizations or institutions for our students. But eventually, over the years, it has really evolved here in the United States, where it now is a really great access opportunity for our students, where it allows many of our students coming from no matter what parts of their lives, whether it's coming from secondary school or they're adult learners, going back into the educational system or wanting to improve their prospects for the workforce, it's open access. So there are really no age limits, and they're really focused on helping our students reach their career goals. One of the other things about community colleges in the United States is that now they are 2+2 programs. In the true essence and the true meaning of it, many of our students will start off to complete their first 2 years of a 4-year bachelor's degree. In the United States, typically a bachelor's degree is about 4 years. Some bachelor's degrees in India are about 3. But in the US, it's about 2 years here at the community college, and they will finish the last 2 years at a university to complete their bachelor's degree. Ultimately, the degree that a student earns is actually coming from the university. Although they start off their foundation years with us, the final degree that a student earns is actually coming from the university setting. Move on to the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's see. Okay, there you go. So why California? I think there's an importance in talking about the historical context of why community colleges are so strong here in California. There's about 1,000 community colleges in the United States, and about 11% of those community colleges are actually located here in California. Many years ago, the state of California decided to create something called the California Master Plan of Higher Education, so that no matter where a student would start, no matter where they would, at what point of their career, they will always have access to higher education. So it really created a 3-tier system where our students can start off at a community college level, at a California State University level, or at the University of California level, where it's access and equity for all of our students, no matter where they started at. And it's also exceptional quality of education, because there was a lot of money and time invested in all these educational systems to help our students progress and continue on with their education, not only starting with a certificate or an associate levels degree at a community college at Pasadena City College, but they will continue on to their bachelor's, their master's, and their doctorate degree. And so what ended up happening was that we created transfer agreements and associate degrees for transfer. And these degrees are very unique to California in that our students are able to know exactly what they're taking at a community college and have a clear path to transfer either to a Cal State University or a University of California system. Let's move on to the next slide. And California's master plan, like I explained, it really started at the very foundation with our community colleges. And there's over 100 community colleges here in California. Many of them are concentrated around Los Angeles, but you can tell that Pasadena City College, we're really close to LA. And then the California State Universities, many of them short CSUs, and also the UC systems, the University of California campuses. So no matter what you do, you know exactly what your pattern, what classes you need to take at a community college to successfully transfer either to a California State University or to a University of California campus. Let's move on to the next slide. So what about Pasadena City College? PCC for short were #1 in transfers to the University of California system and the California State Universities. That means that among all the 115 community colleges, we actually transferred the most students to the UCs and the CS to the Cal State Universities. And currently we have about 90+ countries represented at Pasadena City College. And we've been actually named top 10 Aspen prize winner. It's the highest accolade that you can receive, or the highest recognition that you can receive among community colleges in the United States. And we have been nominated again for an Aspen Institute award this year. And here at PCC, we have over 124 different programs that you can choose from, all the way across 6 different career communities. In many universities, they are divided into colleges, based on specialties. We're actually divided into career communities. And let's talk a little bit about where we are located. Pasadena City College is located in the city of Pasadena. We're about 16 kilometers away from Los Angeles. And we're very close to Los Angeles International Airport, to beaches, and you can actually access both beaches and snow in just a single day. So there's a lot of geographic diversity where our students can access and can actually experience while they're living in Pasadena. And Pasadena historically has a lot of heritage or a lot of history behind it. We are also the home of the Tournament of the Roses, which is actually one of the largest competitions and tournaments in the United States are celebrated during the new year. And also we're architectural center in the 1800s. So there's a lot of old historical houses in this area. And back in the 1800s, we were also known, Pasadena was also known as the Millionaire's Row. There were a lot of millionaires and famous artists and actors that settled down in Pasadena. So there's a lot of rich history in the city. And our college is actually quite a diverse institution. We have about 30,000 plus students. Obviously, they're part-time and full-time students. About 17,000 of those 30,000 are full-time students. Like I said, about 90 countries represented, and about 28% are Asian students, 38 Hispanic, and 20% white. And four of the tenets of PCC, or Pasadena City College, and I'd like to share to you what it is about our community college that makes it special, is its affordability, right? You start off at PCC at almost half the cost of a four-year institution, and really can get a two-year degree and then transfer to your dream school at a later time. And obviously 2+2 degrees save money, especially for many of our students who are looking for cost benefits and looking for opportunities to really save some money and eventually transfer to their dream school. And we also, along the way, allow our students to earn certificate of achievements and also multiple degrees if you like to major in more than one career while you're studying here at PCC. The second thing about Pasadena City College is access, right? And support services that we have for our students. Although we are a large college, our students here are automatically enrolled in something called Pathways First Year Experience Program to really guide you through your first year, second year, and sometimes even third years, depending on the career that you're choosing. So for many of our students, you have access through the Pathways Center to dedicated coaches, academic counselors and advisors that really help you craft a plan or an educational plan to know exactly what your target is, what your journey is going to be during your first 2 years here or 3 years here, depending on the career. And also our students have access to free tutoring services to over 35 different subjects. And again, now during COVID-19, many of our tutoring services are being offered online. So even then, our students are able to access tutors one-on-one. And for many of our students that are interested in participating in our honors program, this is a really great way for you to really accelerate your education. Here at PCC, we have agreements with certain institutions where if you participate in an honors program, you may get priority consideration in your application. For example, with UCLA, our students get a chance to be looked at for a second major, which is not very common if you're applying directly into a transfer program and are not in an honors program at PCC. The third thing about Pasadena City College is about the friendships and the connections you're going to make here. We are a college with over 100 clubs and student organizations. So if you're interested in really building your leadership skills, there's a lot of opportunities for you to start a club or join a club or an organization, whether it is math, engineering, or a social club, such as the Pakistani Student Club or the Muslim Student Club. There are many opportunities for you to really engage in our community. And again, one of the highlights of our institution is there are cultural and social events occurring throughout the year. California and Los Angeles itself is a very diverse and very open-minded city and location. So many of our students experience cultural experiences from across the world where you can really learn from other students. Now, one of the other things, the final thing about Pasadena City College is exploring your dream career. And we actually have a dedicated center called the Freeman Center for Career and Completion, where you can explore different opportunities related to your major. So if you're not sure what you really want to study, this is a really good opportunity for you to really think about what your future career plans are going to be. There's free one-on-one help with your resume or your CV to help you really position yourself for a career in the future. And also they have industry panelists and events for our students throughout the year, so you can really meet with employers and find opportunities to really build your career, whether it is in engineering, in the sciences, or in business or technology. Let me move forward. Let's see. And finally, the transfer guarantees at PCC. This is probably the highlight of many of our international students. The majority of international students, we're about 1,000 international students, depending on the year, but the majority of our students are actually thinking about transfer. And among some of our transfer schools this year, we have students every year transferring to UCLA. This year for private universities, USC is actually quite close, and Cornell as well. But we are #1 in transfers to University of California and California State University systems. And if you're thinking about other institutions across the United States, we also have a dedicated transfer center to really help our students understand what is the goal that you need to craft or you need to create for yourself in order to position yourself for the next 2 years. And our transfer center, aside from that, also has over 100 different articulation agreements. So that means that you know exactly what you are taking here at PCC in order to transfer to over 100 different schools across the United States. And to give you a little bit of a highlight, this is one of my favorite students and also one of our student workers in our office, Ariel Wiyaya. She's actually from Indonesia, and she's transferring this year, but she's actually one of our students that has really engaged herself in the PCC community. She's transferred to UCLA in communication arts, actually one of the most difficult majors to transfer to into UCLA. But she's a social behavioral sciences and communication arts major, so she's actually earning 2 degrees from PCC. She's also was part of the honors program at Pasadena City College, was also part of the Indonesian Student Club, Permias, as well as the honors club, which is Alpha Gamma Sigma on campus, as well as Pathways. So this is one of our most exemplary students working at the International Student Center, and really good example of how Ariel started with her first 2 years at PCC and eventually is transferring to UCLA for her final 2 years. Now, think of yourself here, dream come true. This is the possibility here at Pasadena City College, and I encourage you to really reach out to us. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me. My contact information is at the very end of this slide. You're welcome to email me or visit our website at pasadena.edu/international.
Yeah, over to Andrew. I just give you the.
Good evening. I'm Andrew Hall. I'm Associate Director of International Marketing and Outreach at Shoreline Community College. We're going to get the slides hopefully moved real quick here. All right. So as I mentioned, I work at Shoreline Community College. And as my 2 associates, Olivia and Tony before me, we're talking about community college. Shoreline is a community college, and it's a really interesting opportunity that students have here in the United States and now across the world, international students with different types of programs. So here at Shoreline, we have our 2+2 transfer program, which we can start your program and transfer you on to a university setting for the last 2 years of your education. But we also have other programs that will allow you to take ESL and college bridge programs. Professional and technical degree programs, which allow you to prepare yourself for your career, maybe as incoming freshman student or your first year in college, or even maybe after a long time of adult learning students want to come and get additional education in their career. But one program that we have specifically here in the state of Washington, a state which is in the Pacific Northwest, is what we call our high school completion program. This is where students are able to come to us at the age of 16 years old and complete both high school and community college for the first 2 years of college at the exact same time for the exact same cost. So there's no additional classes, no additional time. So you can actually come to the United States at age 16 or 17 before you complete your secondary school and actually complete high school and the first 2 years of college at the same time. It's a really interesting program, and that's unique only to the state of Washington. So just a quick diagram here to show what the 2+2 transfer works like. You do 2 years at Shoreline, and then you can pick almost any school in the United States. Shoreline's transferred students to over 220 different universities and colleges across the United States up into the state, and it's growing every single year to finish that 4-year bachelor's degree. I always like to start with a testimonial from a student. This is Arim. She is from Kazakhstan. We have many students from all across the world. We've transferred, currently have students from over 50 countries on our campus. And this just kind of shows the whole path of a community college student. So she did her first 2 years at Shoreline Community College and transferred on to the University of Washington in Washington State, which is actually not very far from Shoreline's campus, but she had the opportunity to apply to many different schools, so including Purdue in Indiana, Georgia Tech down in Georgia, Arizona State, and the University of Washington, name a couple. And then from that opportunity, she graduated and used her internship, her OPT opportunity to work at T-Mobile, which is a large cellular communications company across the world, and actually now is actually working there full time as the associate engineer in science and design at T-Mobile HQ. So it kind of shows the whole path of what a community college can offer, from the 2-year community college to transferring to the university to using your OPT and time and education used to find a full-time job here in the United States. So it's definitely a feasible path to go to for your university and find a job. So here at Shoreline Community College, we have over 90 different transfer 2+2 programs, and then we have about 25 to 30 professional technical degree programs on campus as well. So we have over 120 different program options for you to choose from, anything from business, computer science, to nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and more in the arts. And then we also have many associates science majors as well, including aeronautical engineering, bioengineering, chemical engineering, aeronautics, we have geology, pre-medicine, physical therapy, oceanography, zoology, you name it. Community college has a wide variety of program options to take. So a couple of our transfer admission guarantees and pathways. So these are programs that we've worked with directly for many years and actually have signed agreements with. So if you are admitted to Shoreline Community College, you actually have 2 admission letters in your packet when you receive your admission packet to Shoreline. You can choose any one of these schools or more that we work directly with to have actually 2 admissions dependent upon your success at Shoreline, to have guaranteed admission to any of these schools, including Arizona State, California State Chico, UC Riverside, Northern Arizona University, Washington State, Montana, you name it. There's many schools all across the country that we work directly with. They've actually guaranteed admission into with your degree from Shoreline Community College. Past these schools that are listed on the screen here, we've worked with many schools, like I said, over 220 universities and colleges across the nation, and actually a few outside of the nation as well. Rennes Business School in France, we work directly with and have a partner agreement with them as well. But these are schools that within the past 5 years that we've sent students to, including Georgia Tech, NYU, UC Berkeley, UCLA, University of Wisconsin, many different schools all across the country. So there are a lot of options when you're going to a community college. You're not limited by the opportunities for transfer. And in the end, you can, on your resume or your CV, you're actually able to put both Shoreline Community College and that top tier, hopefully your dream school, your transfer school, to put on your resume as somewhere where you've attended school and graduated from. So I know there's that stigma of, oh, I go to a community college, it's a lesser program, it's a lesser degree, it's a bridge program. And that's not fully true. So you have the opportunity to end up at some of these top tier universities, but also while you save up maybe some money and give you the opportunity to maybe understand the US culture, language, and taking classes in English in the United States, because it is a big transition, and Shoreline and community colleges themselves will support you in that effort. So I want to touch on what we're doing with the COVID response. We are fully online for the summer quarter currently, and most likely for the fall as well. So all of our programs in our 2+2 program, our professional technical degree programs, our ESL, and our high school bridge programs are fully online for students to take from your home asynchronously, which means you're taking classes in the time zone that fits you best. So we're doing everything we can at Shoreline to provide you an education on the timeline that you see your education going to. So if you're interested in taking online courses, you're able to apply and register fully online. And with that being said, we do have online advising. So we have 4 full-time academic advisors on our campus that will help you one-on-one, not only to support you in signing up for classes, but also to support you in figuring out what teachers to take, what time to take them, support groups to go see, and then obviously in the end to go see that 4-year university transfer. They'll help you with any application needs or questions that happen with that as well. We do have a residence hall on our campus, and currently it is open, so students are able to live on campus while we are also in the COVID campus closure as well. So we have students in individual rooms. All of our rooms on our residence hall are suite style, so you'll share maybe a suite, a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom suite with maybe 2, 3, 4 people at maximum, so 5 people in our residence hall suite. They come with 2 showers, fully furnished apartments, bedrooms, kitchens, you name it. It's a fully furnished apartment. All utilities are included, so it's a great option to live on campus and explore your learning while being on campus. Last thing I'll point on our COVID response is for right now, our online tutoring and support services are also fully online. So if you need anything from talking to a counselor, to a tutor, one-on-one educational provider, to also maybe talking to them about like what you're feeling or your emotions going on when you're talking with your education and things that can help provide a better education, those support services are fully online. And the cool thing I think that what Shoreline does for tutoring is for every class that you take per week. So if you're taking math, a science, a history, and then engineering course, for every single one of those classes, you get free 2 hours of one-on-one tutoring per week for those classes. You can actually have up to, if you're taking 4 classes, you can take 8 hours of individualized tutoring per week. So Shoreline is in the top 20 programs in the country for international student enrollment. We have just over 1,000 international students currently on our campus from over 50 countries, and with a student population of just over 6,000 full-time students. 1,000 of those students being international students. We're 1 in 6 on our campus are international. So we're a very, very large international student population school, community college in the country. And we have a large representation of students from across the world. So I always like to point this out. We are in Seattle, Washington. We're not in Washington, D.C. on the East Coast. We are on the West Coast in the most northern part of the country. So above California, above Oregon, we're actually about a 2-hour, 20-minute drive from Vancouver, Canada. So we're not very far from the Canadian-US border. Trying to get the next slide here. There we go. It's a picture of our campus. That went by very quickly, and I do apologize. But this is kind of a picture of the Seattle area, the city itself. I call it the best of both worlds because we are about maybe 45-minute drive, not even, from some of the largest mountain ranges in the country. Mount Rainier is about a 2-hour, 2.5-hour drive from Seattle, Washington. That is the highest peak in the country. Hawaii has the highest peak in the United States, but obviously in the continental 48 states, Mount Rainier is the highest mountain peak in the country. We are right on the water in the Puget Sound, so we have water access, we have forest access, we have some of the largest forestry preserves and national foundations for parks and recreation in the entire country within about a 30 to 40-minute drive, depending on which one you're going to. So we have a great atmosphere for both technology and jobs, but also nature as well, seeing kind of both parts of the country. I always add this slide in because every company that's listed here with their logo on this page has an international headquarters in Seattle, Washington. So Amazon, Facebook, T-Mobile, Microsoft, to name a few, Boeing have their largest headquarter buildings in the world in Seattle, Washington. So these are all places you can actually apply for internship opportunities or jobs post-graduation, to get that experience at the professional level, not only with your education, but also with your professional career outputs as well. To almost finish up here, I always like to go over the costs of what Shoreline costs, because you really do want to see what you're saving and what opportunities community college can provide. Per year for your tuition, for your fees and estimated books costs, we're about $10,000 US. So that does seem like a fair bit of money, but when it comes to the US education system, for an entire year of education, for roughly almost $10,000, that's all it's going to cost for tuition for one full year. So it's a great cost savings opportunity. And then when it comes to your rooming, health insurance, personal expenditures as well, we estimate the cost of one full year of academics when you're coming to campus to be about $19,900. I round up to be about $20,000 per year. And that includes all of your food, all of your housing opportunities for on campus, your health insurance, and also personal spending money as well. So everything included is going to cost about or just less than $20,000 per year for a full year of academics on campus. And that's a very big savings, because when you're talking about those top tier schools that we're transferring students to, those can be very, very expensive schools, and some don't even offer international student scholarship opportunities. So you need to be wary of the costs of what community college and universities can cost in the United States. And I do want to point out some of the cost comparisons of what a full degree at Shoreline can cost to some of the other schools. So at the University of Washington here in Seattle, Washington, without scholarship, which many students, it's hard to get a scholarship at the University of Washington, it costs about $56,000 per year to go to the University of Washington. So if you go to Shoreline for 2 years, you've just saved yourself $60,000 of educational costs, which is over a cost of an entire year at Washington. So by coming to Shoreline for 2 years, getting a great education, and then transferring to the University of Washington, you basically saved yourself an entire year of tuition and fees. University of California, Berkeley is about $64,000, UCLA is about $62,000, Drexel is about $70,000, and that's without scholarship, obviously. But these are opportunities to look at the cost savings you can have between community college and some of those top tier programs that we transfer students to on a yearly basis. So I don't have this student's testimonial yet, as in she's just graduating this year. However, we had a student who was actually admitted into 15 universities from Shoreline Community College transferring this year, including Cornell, UCLA, UC Berkeley, NYU, University of Wisconsin, University of Indiana, University of Georgia, and a few more to name, but these are programs that you have the access to every single year to transfer to. So community college is a viable option, a cheaper option, and a very, very personable, accessible option for students to get your education as an international student, small classroom settings, and then transfer on to those top tier schools to complete your 4-year degree. Quick application, it's very, very easy. We don't require very much when it comes to documentation or documents by mail. We have an online application, and that $50 fee does cover the cost of your shipping of your I-20s. We offer unofficial transcripts and then a financial statement. Those are the only 3 things that we require. We technically do not require an English placement exam, an IELTS or a TOEFL for admission. So you can send these 3 documents online to our website. And to our email address there, and you would actually have the opportunity to apply and see if you're admitted into Shoreline and what opportunities we can provide you for your future education here in the United States, and specifically, hopefully, in the Pacific Northwest here in Seattle, Washington. So I'm going to pass it on to my colleague Karen at the University of Wisconsin Stout to talk about the 4-year program they have.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in and listening. You know, I am from a 4-year university in the state of Wisconsin. So I'm going to talk about our university, but then how we work with transfer students who are, you know, typically going on to 2-year community colleges first, and then transferring to our university to complete both their associate's and their bachelor's degree in those total of 4 years. So I'm the international admissions counselor. So for any students applying to SOUT, I would be the one reviewing your application, communicating with you really until you get up to campus and helping you with your course credits that you are transferring. All right. It's not, there we go. So, like I mentioned, we're located in the state of Wisconsin, in Menominee. So we're cited as one of the best, 15 best small towns in America. So we're gonna be right here in the Midwest. I'm gonna be very biased, but wonderful food, the best people, very friendly. We're very welcoming community. Um, our campus itself is going to be right in the middle of downtown, which is very beneficial for international students because typically you're not going to have a vehicle or a driver's license. So you can walk to all the local restaurants and local shops within 5 minutes from campus. You know, there is going to be a lower cost of living, so it's going to be a lot more affordable to live here than it would be in, say, New York City, Los Angeles, you know, some bigger cities like that. So it's gonna be much more affordable. You can definitely save money by coming to the Midwest. And we have all 4 seasons. The winter, we have the snow. It's very hot in the summer then, and then the fall and the spring. Um, they're located about 1 hour from Minneapolis, St. Paul, which has the biggest shopping mall in America. So if you have not been there, that's on your list. It's amazing. Um, we're also about 1.5 hours from the largest water park in the US. Then about 5 hours from Chicago. Madison is about 3 hours. So we're located around all these really great large cities and tourist destinations that are great weekend trips, or trips to go to in the holidays. In our university, we're in a city of about 18,000. So a very safe, like I mentioned, community, you know, but then you're surrounded by all this great, you know, touristy destination. So our university, we have a student faculty ratio from 19 to 1. So our classes are going to remain small. So before I go any further, I would just like to say that, you know, transferring from a community college to Stout can be a very easy transition for the most part, just because we are very similar in some of the ways that they operate. We do still think that small classes are important. Where I went to university, I was in a class of 400 students and was taught by a graduate student. Never got to meet the professor, felt very uncomfortable asking questions in a class of 400. So we feel that it's important that students are still in those small classes, getting taught by their professors and not by teaching assistants, to really get, you know, learn as much as they can and also utilize those faculty members for, you know, networking and finding jobs after they graduate. We have a total enrollment of 8,700. That's including undergraduate, international, graduate, and online students. We have online programs. About 150 to 200 international students from about 30 plus different countries. So we're not just going to have one culture dominating our international population. It's a very, very diverse community, very close knit. And then our employment rate is 98.8%. So it is, you know, very difficult for you not to find a job when you graduate. Our students are very successful finding jobs in their field or continuing on to that next level and going on to a master's degree. So we have, we are Polytechnic University. So this is another, you know, way I think that students from community colleges can really transition is we are a hands-on university. So like I mentioned, you're not going to be in those huge lecture halls of 400, 500 students, not even 100. It's going to be very hands-on. So similar to a lot of community colleges where there's more vocational training and you're really getting into the specifics in a course. So out of all of the universities in the US, only 3% of us are Polytechnic. So we focus on 3 things, which really makes us stand out as a university. We have a strong career focus, which means that every academic program that we offer has a high job demand. So they are, you know, always looking for employers. And then in addition to that, each program, we have an advisory board, which means that we have, you know, people on a board from, you know, the community. We have students, professors, and people from businesses in that related field looking over the courses for each major and deciding which ones are really important and a must for our students. So you're not taking any courses that you won't use when you're at your job. Then the biggest part that students will see is that applied learning. So we have 3 times the labs and lectures on campus. So our students really are not going to be in a lecture every day. You will be, maybe a couple times a week, but you're taking that knowledge and you're going to apply it to group work or a project or an internship. And I'll give some of those examples later on when I'm talking about our programs. Then collaboration, we have students working with each other. So we have art students working with our computer science students in classes. We also have partnerships with over 3,000 businesses and industries throughout the entire country, where we are working with our students in our career office to connect those businesses with students for internships and jobs. Okay. So we have 49 undergraduate programs, and those are all divided into kind of 6 sections: art, design, and graphic, business management, education, human social sciences, IT, and then science, engineering, and math. Then we have 60 minors if students are interested in adding those on to their program. So I'll let these sit here for a moment just so you are able to take a look, but here's our program cluster. So art and design, animation is our ranked number 23 in the US. We have animation. We have game design and development, as you can see. So these students are designing the artwork and characters and landscape for video games. Then, like I mentioned, with collaborating with other students, they're working with our computer science students who are doing the programming and the software development for the video game. That's a great example of collaboration. But then our game design students, they actually create a video game before they graduate. So, that's one great example of how students are being successful, and, it's going to be a great way for students to promote themselves at job interviews. Business and management, I know, is popular among many students. We have the typical, the business administration. We have hotel, restaurant, tourism management. So that hospitality is ranked 11 in the world. Very strong in that. We have students going, learning how to be CEOs at, JW Marriott or at Disney, that water park that I mentioned, though many students will go to as well. And, we have everything from psychology to dietetics. IT and probably science, engineering, math are going to be our 2 largest career clusters or colleges, whatever you'd like to call them. So computer science. Then we have 6 engineering programs, 2 which are very unique to STELT is packaging and plastics engineering. So plastics or packaging, there's only 3 packaging engineering bachelor's programs in the United States. And you can see here where some of the students are hiring, or what companies are hiring our students. So our students, like I said, are very successful. They're really, getting into their program and learning, right away from the first year that they're on campus. About their future job options and all that. So we do have then quite a few transfer students. We are an extremely transfer friendly university. Probably almost half of our international population every fall is going to be transfer. So that can be a transfer student. Maybe students are taking courses at a university back in their home country. We can accept those credits. But for those who are looking for like that 2+2 here in the US, we have our own articulation agreements over 100, where students are able to look by major. If you want to study hospitality, you can go on our website and see what hospitality schools we have agreements with. So then you can go, like the 2 prior presenters mentioned, you can just go on, see what classes you can take at that community college and see exactly how they'll transfer here. So then you can stay on that 4-year track to graduate on time. But if you don't have an articulation agreement, we do have transferology. So there's a link here. So you can go on our website and actually, if you've already taken college courses or if you plan on taking some, I recommend that students, before they register for classes, you can go type in the courses that you're thinking of taking at that college, and you'll see right away if it will transfer to our university, and if so, how it will transfer. So you can actually see right there what will transfer and what will not. We have, like I mentioned, quite a few international students that are transferring to us. So, for example, we have Pratyush from Ahmedabad in India. He's going to be graduating this year. He transferred from the Professional Golfers Career College, which is in California. There are several campuses and we have articulation agreements with them. So he went on to Professional Golfers Career College for 2 years and studied, golf enterprise management, and then transferred for his last 2 years at our university to complete his golf enterprise management bachelor's program. So with that, he's going to be graduating and he's going to be learning how to own, run, manage his own golf course. I know his goal is to go back to India and take all that knowledge back to his home country. I know he absolutely loves the university. He's very involved. We have the golf course right next to campus, where students are actually getting that applied learning, that real life experience right away. Then we have Ayush, who's from Kathmandu. He was also in California and studied at Silver Lake Community College. He just did his general courses there for 2 years and then transferred here to psychology. And so I won't go through these too quick, but just to kind of look at that comparison, I know Andrew went through and talked about tuition and fees and saving money. If you are in, maybe have a tighter budget or you just want to save money, which you should always be wanting to, going to a 2-year college and saving some money is a great way to still graduate in 4 years and get 2 degrees. So we are, like I mentioned, a very, cost-effective university, very low cost of living. So total for everything is about $28,000 US, and that does include everything listed here. So it does include your tuition, your on-campus housing, your food. You have amazing food, all of your textbooks, which those can be very expensive. So we include all of those, your insurance. Then we do also include laptops and software in tuition for all students. So as a student, even if you're a transfer or a freshman, you'll get a brand new laptop. All of your program software is on there. So whether that's computer science, software, art, hospitality. And then once you graduate, you do have the option to keep the computer. So all the technology help, we teach you how to use it. We'll help you. We'll provide anything technology related for your programs. Everything, say transportation, I'm going to be very transparent. Everything's included except for a gym membership. So, still very great cost in my opinion, especially compared to other universities. But then for transfer students, we still do offer scholarship. There's no disadvantage to going to a 2-year community college first. As long as you're maintaining a 3.0 grade point average at your community college, you will automatically get $5,000 for your first year at Stout. And then as long as you keep your GPA up to a 3.0, you can get that again your second year. Okay. And then we also have foundation scholarships as well. So we have actually some in there just for transfer students, some, maybe just for international. There's about 80 scholarship programs in that. All the requirements differ and same with the award amounts. But just wanted to reiterate here that, you're not going to be losing out on any opportunities if you decide to transfer and go to a community college first. And then I know, there we go. And for admission, something I just want to highlight, I know you can find all this on our website, but the main thing I want to point out is something different for admissions for transfer students is instead of, we typically ask for a TOEFL or IELTS. However, if you're taking like an English 101, like our English 101 equivalent at another community college, so that's English composition, we can waive the TOEFL or IELTS. So I know many students do meet this requirement because the community college does make sure that they're taking English at their college. So, they're able, that's the one advantage is at community colleges, you don't have to take the TOEFL or IELTS. And I believe that is it. So, I mean, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me at international@uwsou.edu or on WhatsApp. You can see my information here. Also, Instagram is a great way to learn more about student life at any university and college. So definitely check us out on there too to get more about student life. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Olivia, Andrew, and Karin for providing such important information to our audience. So we will go for the question answer session now. Let me just. There is a questions. What is the tuition fees in PCC? Do they have scholarship? So this is a question to Pasadena Community College.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Yes, our current tuition and fees for a year, that includes also living expenses, the health insurance, the typical expenses that our students see. It's roughly about $19,000 a year. And yes, there are scholarships available for our students. So we're actually quite comparable if you're looking at starting out at a community college, because it's really almost more than half the price of an education at a four-year university. Scholarships are available for students when they first start out at PCC. So they have access to scholarships during their first year when they become a student. So they probably will be awarded scholarships the second year. So they apply the first year, and then the awards are applied to their second year, or sorry, their second semester during their first year when they start off at PCC. The amounts range. It can be, it doesn't cover the cost of education, but it can range from a few $100s to, I believe, up to $4,000, depending on the award that the student gets.
So the next question is, what is the difference between Associate of Arts and Associates of Science degrees? So probably one of you can respond to this question.
Sure, I can take that question, and maybe if Andrew, you want to also add to it as my as a co-presenter. Associate of Arts and Associate Science degrees are exactly what it means in terms of one track is more arts or behavioral sciences related, and then the other one is more science related. At many community colleges, it is not a requirement to earn an Associate of Arts or an Associate of Science in order to transfer. So for example, many of our students at Pasadena City College will earn their AA or AS degrees, but many of them will choose not to and just transfer directly into a four-year. So depending on what your major or what your career track is going to be, it will dictate what kind of associate's degree you're going to get. Again, science is probably more engineering, science, technology based, and the Associate of Arts is probably more arts based or social science based. Andrew, did you want to add to it?
No, I think that was very well stated. I do like to always point out that just because you do take specific classes that's listed as Associates of Science or an Associates of Arts does not mean you can't take other programs in other areas. So you can take classes that maybe a part of the Associates of Arts degrees, and you can also take classes as the Associates of Science degrees. So as Olivia mentioned, you don't have to receive a specific Associates of Arts to transfer in within that program. We have students who receive an Associates of Science degree in electrical engineering, and then they transfer on to an Associates of transfer onto like their 4-year program in like their bachelor's level and take political science. Like you don't have to transfer in with the same program that you took. Most students do because that's their career path, but you don't have to have that specific degree to transfer onto a 4-year program.
The next questions, do any of these 3 colleges have forensic investigation programs?
So at Shoreline Community College, we do have a criminal science program, and then we do have a science program that is forensics based.
At Pasadena City College, we do have an administrative justice major for students that are interested in going into that field.
And EWSA does not, unfortunately.
At the University of Wisconsin staff?
Yeah, we do not.
Okay. Next questions to all 3 of you. International students international students also have access to scholarship, means our international students get a scholarship from these 3 colleges?
At Pasadena City College, absolutely. Our international students, actually, many of them have received scholarships, not only at Pasadena City College, but also when they transfer. So many of the 4-year universities that they transfer to, based on their grade point average and majors, can also are eligible to receive scholarships. And again, as I mentioned, the scholarships range from between $500 to a few $1,000s. It doesn't cover the entire tuition and fees, but it's a really good amount, and they are renewable every year that the student is there, depending on their grade point average.
At Shoreline Community College, international students have the opportunity to earn a scholarship anywhere from $500 to $1,200, and that is renewable for the 2 years they can be on campus, or if longer, if they want to do multiple programs or start in ESL. And then, as Olivia mentioned, Shoreline does have a lot of great program options when it comes to the transferring into 4-year universities. Many of our students do receive international student scholarships as transfers as well.
Yeah, and same with UW Stout. Most of our international students do receive a scholarship, but it is very important, when researching, if you're going to do a community college or go to a 4-year, is not just to look at tuition, but also ask those questions about, not just are the scholarships available, but asking if I transfer, am I still eligible for scholarships? I think that's very important. During the research process to make sure that there's no disadvantages or you're not going to lose out on scholarship opportunities because you're transferring.
There is a question, do all have own housing options for students? I mean, all these 3 colleges do have housing option for international students?
So at Pasadena City College, we actually do not offer housing to our students. But we do have a variety of resources for our students to help find housing in this area. We are actually located near several universities, including within walking distance to Caltech, our Art Center College of Design, and also the Music Center in Pasadena City College, as well as Fuller Seminary. So because we're so close in proximity to all these universities, we actually have a large number of housing resources for our students, whether it is apartment style or whether it is using some of the housing resources at some of these institutions. So yes, although we do offer a lot of resources for our students.
There is also a question, do you have well-stocked library? Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
I was saying we do have, Shoreline does have on-campus housing for students, and they're all suite style.
Yes, and at UW Stout, we do have on-campus housing. One thing for transfer students is transfer students are not required to live on campus, but if they, would like to live on campus, they do have that option.
It's a question, do you have well-stocked library in campus for all the three qualities?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Do you have well-stocked library, means you have enough resources in the library in campus?
Yes. So at Pasadena City College, we actually have a network of librarians on campus. And so our students who are conducting research can actually attend webinars, can attend in-person presentations not during COVID-19 pandemic. Our students are able to go to presentations to do and complete their research papers. So yes, we actually have a really large network of resources for our students trying to access libraries. And we also have our own library on campus.
At Shoreline, we do have a very well-equipped library, including tutoring centers, individual classroom settings for tutoring, design when it comes to, we have an entire marketing studio in the basement that's right next to our TSS, our Technical Support Services Center, including both online and books researching opportunities on campus within the library services department.
Yeah, and we have our library right on campus. It's 5 levels, and each level has it's kind of divided up where one level is going to be ebook, like audio books and all that. One may be comics and stories and things like that. One may be more research textbooks. So it's all divided up as well. Then we have separate study rooms in the library for students where they can connect to a TV if they want to do group work with other students. And we also have tutoring centers, writing centers, one for each college.
There is a question about, do you have pre-med studies in your colleges?
What was the question?
Pre-med. Pre-med means pre-medicine.
Okay. Our university does. So at UW-Stout, we don't have a medical school, but we do have pre-med. We actually have cadaver labs right on campus. So that's where our students are a lot of the time, is in those cadaver labs, getting that real life, that experiential learning experience. And we do have agreements with some medical schools in the US and outside of the US as well, where students can complete our pre-med program and go on to their medical school.
At Pasadena City College, students are interested in going into a 4-year medical program, can study in one of our Associate of Science degrees. One of the challenges I would think for many of our students in India is that medicine in you have to think of medicine in the United States as different, a little bit of a different degree, because you need to complete 4 years of a bachelor's degree, meaning 4 years of study, before you can apply for medical school. So at a community college, yes, you can fulfill many of those science courses and then transfer into a 2-year complete kind of your pre-med career and then apply to medical school. At PCC, one of the interesting things is we actually have other health sciences programs that are quite strong as well, that kind of lend itself into a pre-med program for some of the students who may want to take that route. For example, our nursing assistant program is actually it's a very competitive program. Dental hygiene. So depending on what track you want to get, you could be exposed to some of those careers, and then eventually transfer into the last 2 years to complete your pre-med program to eventually go into medical school in the future.
And just a second, what Olivia, if I cut you off, Olivia. But very similar to what Pasadena City College, Shoreline does have the same type of program, where a lot of our applied science programs can lead you toward a pre-med program. But I always do talk to my international students saying that of the very few medical schools in the United States, only roughly 30 medical colleges and universities, med schools actually accept international students. And of those 30 plus medical schools that do accept international students, less than 1% of international applicants actually get admitted to medical school. So it's a very competitive program when it comes to international students in the United States. And it's very expensive. So same as Pasadena City College Shoreline, what we do is give our students many options within the medical arts field to kind of see what options there are, including dental hygiene, nursing, physical therapy, PT, dentistry, you name it. There's a lot of different programs within the medical arts program that does not lead to being a doctor or a surgeon. So we kind of provide education along a lot of variety of programs to show students what their capabilities are within the medical field.
There is a question, do you have full-time faculty member in the campus?
Absolutely. So Pasadena City College, or PCC, majority of our classes are taught by full-time faculty members. We actually, our class sizes are about 30, 31 to 1 student. And so you won't find teaching assistants for the most part at a community college because class sizes are so small and so targeted for our students. I'll let Shoreline Community College also follow through.
Yeah, thanks, Olivia. So here at Shoreline, we have no teachers assistants that teach classes, so every class is taught by a professor. And the cool thing about, I think, what community college, and especially at Shoreline, offers is our faculty do not have to do research or publish. So all of their time on campus is actually with the students in support of their education and not in support of their own career goals as well. So it's a great opportunity to have the professor in every class, have that one-on-one connection with them on a daily basis. And with the average class size of being 18 students at Shoreline, you really do understand and get to know your professors on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah, and I know I kind of mentioned that already. We are also small classes. The only time that we have teaching assistants teaching classes is if the professor is sick. So otherwise, 99.9% of the time it's a professor. And same as Shoreline, our professors, are not required to do research or anything like that as well. So they are really focused on our students and their career goals and where they're going to go. We have great faculty on campus and small classes to make sure students who feel comfortable asking questions and getting that one-on-one help.
We will take the last questions, says whether international students are allowed to walk in the campus and whether there are enough opportunity for international students for campus tour.
Yes, thank you, Sudarshan. Yes, at Pasadena City College, many of our international students will choose to work on campus, and under your visa, the student visa, you are allowed to work on campus part-time, usually during regular terms. Many of our students also move on to apply for what they call employment training. If they earn an associate's degree at PCC, some of our students who choose not to transfer out or want to wait a little bit longer before they transfer out can also qualify for other types of employment training like OPT, optional practical training. While they're a student at PCC, they can also qualify for curricular practical training. And again, like I mentioned, we have a very robust career center called the Freeman Center for Career and Completion, where students are able to tap into industry leaders in order to build their resume, build their CV, so that when they're ready to apply for that job or that dream career, they're uniquely positioned at PCC to be very successful.
Yeah, so at Shoreline, we do offer opportunities for online or on-campus jobs. We're actually currently having students do online work for our office. So in the International Education Department, we currently have students being paid while they're in their home countries while they work for our office, doing types of different work across our department, which is really nice. So even during the COVID times, students are able to have on-campus jobs that they're being paid for. And the cool thing about Seattle itself, the minimum wage is currently $13.50, and it's going up to $15 in 2021. So it's a very high-paying jobs on campus. So if you're working a few hours, up to 20 hours per week on your F1 visa, there's a good opportunity to earn quite a few dollars to support your education and also your living here in the United States as well.
Yeah, at UW Stout, we actually have an employment guarantee for international students with our dining center. So for any international student that's applying to Stout, if they would like to, they can actually apply and have a guarantee before they're even, get their visa that they can work on campus in our dining center. When that's issued on their I-20, they get a letter from dining saying that they do have they do get employment on campus, but over 2,000 students work on campus. Does not have to be in dining. Students typically like to work there because you get free food when you work, but everything from like the gym to the international office, being a tour guide, really any department that you see on campus, you can typically get a job in.
Well, thank you very much, Olivia, Andrew, and Karen. With that, we will end the question and answer sessions, and we thanks all the audience who have joined this webinar today, and I hope you have got important information. If you have further questions, feel free to write to us. You can also individually contact the presenters like Pasadena, Shoreline, or University of Wisconsin Stout. And also look at the handouts that we have posted on the handout section and see other webinars that we'll be offering in the month of June. Thank you all for attending this webinar. Thank you, Olivia, Andrew, and Karen.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Education USA.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.